Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm here with Mackensie Liberman. She's going to talk all about chatbots. I know you guys want to learn more about those. She's making well over 10K a month running chatbots and Facebook ads for her clients. And we're just going to dive straight into it. So I will let Mackensie introduce herself and give a little bit more about her journey.
Sure. Well, thanks for asking me to do this. I, am very honored to be here. So my background, a lot of people are like, have different stories of where, how they got to where they are. So my background is I'm actually a clinically certified cytogeneticist, and that's, science speak for I analyze chromosomes for abnormalities. So that's what I started off with. But I'm also very outgoing. I'm not the typical laboratory person type who are a little bit more introverted. And so using my scientific analytical skills, statistical skills, and my love for math and science and also tech, it was a pretty easy transition for me to go into digital marketing. So a little over a year ago, I started with Facebook ads, and I've been running ads for businesses, local businesses across the country, and actually international in Australia too. And back in December, it's almost been a year, December of 2016, I learned about messenger bots. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool, because of like my techiness, I love that stuff. And so I started jumping into it, and I just fell in love because it's, there's a lot of rules that you have to follow, but also there's a lot of variability. And so since then, I've been kind of on the forefront of messenger bots. I mean, everybody I talk to for clients, they have no idea what it is. I show it to them, they're blown away, and they're like, yes, we want this. So since then, I've been pretty much running Facebook ads to bots, and sometimes landing pages are included in that, in the interaction. But the great thing is it's so customizable that I've been able to just really do really well with bots and ads together for a majority of my clients.
Awesome.
So that's about me.
Guys, if you're on the call right now, give us some hearts, give us some likes down below. If you have any questions for Mackensie, it's a great opportunity to ask. Hit those in the comments. I'm sure she'd love to answer them.
Yes.
But I know a lot of people in the group are really, really new to bots. So when you go into a prospect trying to get a new client, how do you sell your bot? How do you describe what a chatbot is?
So a lot of times I ask some questions before. So like I ask, do they do email marketing, things like that, kind of gauge what they're currently doing. If they do email marketing, that's even better because I can blow them out of the water with the stats of open rates and engagement rates with chatbots compared to email. But sometimes, or a lot of times with a lot of the little local businesses, they don't do email marketing. So I show them about how it helps to increase engagement with potential customers, also saves them time because it's kind of like a assistant, right? A messenger assistant that will answer common questions, For example, a restaurant that I work with, he gets a lot of questions like, oh, where are you located? What are your hours? Well, I have that in the menu. So the messenger bot actually does all that for him, where he's not having to, go in and answer those questions. So I kind of tell them that that's one aspect of it. But then also I like to point out that because 99% of businesses have no idea what chatbots are, I like to mention how none of their competitors are using it. A lot of times you can also go to some of their competitors' websites or Facebook pages, and you can click on the send a message. If it doesn't have get started on the bottom, they don't have a chatbot. So that's one way that you can prepare yourself as a marketer before you're going in to talk to somebody, is look at some of their competitors' Facebook pages to see if they have chatbots. And you can, with 100% confidence, say, well, I know this competitor of yours and this one, they do not have those. So that's one way to bring it up. And then obviously saying that having the higher engagement and being able to reach customers or potential customers on a platform that they're constantly in versus email, where, that's lower on the hierarchy of notifications, right? Top is usually text message, next would be messenger, and then probably Facebook notifications, and then a couple rungs below that is email for the most part. So being able to state how you're, higher up in that hierarchy will be able to keep the business top of mind to all these potential customers.
Awesome. Yeah, and I totally agree with all of that. I prefer chatbots over making sales funnels now because they're way more engaging. With a gym I'm running it for, we can figure out if they're current clients, if they haven't been to the gym yet, and we can ask all sorts of questions to really understand that lead before we even like talk to them personally. So I love that. Also, I think one thing that confuses people is the different growth tools and how you move a lead from a Facebook ad to the chatbot. So there are a lot of tools for that. How do you do that?
Okay, so this is all, what I'm going to say is all based on ManyChat, which is one of the two main platforms. I utilize ManyChat mostly because 99% of my clients are lead gen, and it's really easy to do lead gen that way. So ManyChat has four main growth tools that you can use with Facebook ads. One is the ref URL growth tool, and that pretty much creates, you have a message sequence that's connected to a specific URL. So only people who have that URL will be able to access that growth tool. So the only downside with that one though is that they have to hit the get started button on the bottom of the messenger when they open it. So that's, because there's upsides and downsides to all the different growth tools. And my suggestion is split test. If one's not working well, try another one, or do them side by side to see which one's getting the better conversion. So the only thing with the ref URL growth tool with Facebook ads though is you have to cloak it first with like a bit.ly link or Sniply, one of those. Otherwise, Facebook is too smart, and then you see it's a link to Messenger. And so they're saying, oh, you're using the wrong destination, that you want to use Messenger instead of website. So that's one of them. And then the second one is the JSON growth tool. That one's great because it utilizes the JSON coding that you would put in for a Messenger destination ad. And how that works is, someone sees your ad, they click on the button, and they automatically get your first message. The one great thing about ManyChat's growth tool is that the widget, it's pretty much not really a growth tool, but it's a widget that creates that code for you. So that way you don't have to figure out, the webhooks and all that stuff, where you just copy it and then you just paste it into the Facebook Ads Manager when you're creating the ad. The only downside to that one is, although I think it's gotten better because I've been using it, I haven't seen a lot, but one potential downside is you get a lot of unknown subscribers in your ManyChat audience. And that's just, people click on it, but then they don't click on the message, because in order to become a subscriber, the person has to interact with your bot either by commenting or hitting a button. So if they don't do that, then they don't become a subscriber, but they've gotten the message. So within ManyChat, they're an unknown subscriber, and then you can't send broadcasts to them unless they interact. So those are two. The other one is a comment growth tool, and a lot of people like this one. I especially like to use the comment growth tool with giveaways because it increases the social presence of and that there's a lot of people commenting saying they want it and stuff. And then the other benefit of that is it decreases the ad cost because it increases the relevancy score, since so many people are commenting on it, right? That Facebook's like, oh my gosh, a lot of people love this ad. There's a lot of likes, there's a lot of comments. So it'll actually decrease the ad cost. I've done ads for a giveaway for it's pretty much an e-com store, and just giving away a bundle of products. And with that, I was getting interactions, which wasn't necessarily leads, but interactions between 2 to 3 cents. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. The actual lead cost in terms of like taking the ad spend divided by the number of subscribers was a little bit around, with all the ad sets combined, about $1, which is amazing just to get $1 leads that you can then broadcast messages to in the future. The only downside with the comment growth tool is that they have to not only comment on the ad post, but then when they get the first message, they have to comment again. And that is a Facebook forced thing. You can't change that in a setting. They have to comment again within the first message. But if you have a great call to action, that doesn't really matter. So if you're doing that and you're not getting a lot of people commenting or becoming a subscriber, fix your call to action, work on that a little bit more. The fourth growth tool that's really well with Facebook ads is the landing page one. And pretty much it's just a simple landing page with a title, subtitle, and you can do an image. And then it has a button, and then they just click, let's say you're giving away a cheat sheet, say, click below to get my cheat sheet. they hit the button, and then it will take them to Messenger or send them the message in Messenger. The only downside to that is that Facebook puts up a pop-up. Again, this is not a setting that you can adjust, but it does a little pop-up that says, just to let the person know that the page will be able to view your public profile. And some people get freaked out by that because they think, oh my gosh, they're going to be like stalking me or something, but it's public profile. Everybody has access to that. So really the best way to choose your growth tool is based on your audience and what your audience type is. So let's say you have a product or service that maybe people wouldn't want other people to know that they want. Like, let's say you're doing a cheat sheet of how to stop smoking or something, or how to stop drinking or something that maybe, you don't want everybody to know about, because also, when people comment on posts, that goes into their newsfeed saying, Mackensie commented on this post, and they're like, oh my gosh, she has this problem. So think of that too when you're deciding on a growth tool, because that wouldn't be a comment growth tool that you'd probably want to use. You'd probably want to use, the JSON or ref URL or landing page. So that's definitely something you want to keep in mind too. But yeah, so those are the 4 main growth tools that you would use for Facebook ads.
Awesome. That's super helpful. And good point on you got to know what growth tool to use. Because I was running ads for a chiropractor that has a wellness clinic, and we were running ad for losing belly fat. So we not too many people want to comment on that ad and say, I have belly fat and I want to get rid of it. So you gotta use the URL ref tool.
Exactly.
And Baldeep, thanks for being with us. Stephanie, what's up? Gio, MiniChat is freaking awesome, and I think Mackenzie would agree for sure. Yes. And Saeed, what's up, man? So, cool. What are some of the results that you've been able to produce for your clients currently? Just the mind-blowing ones. I know you've done a lot. I saw one post on was a Facebook ad for people having a birthday for a restaurant, something like that, and you got awesome engagement in that. Can you go over some of that?
Yeah, definitely. So, so for that one, and it's great because with Facebook ads targeting, you can target people who will be having a birthday in the next week. So what I did for my restaurant client, and it's funny because this restaurant client, I am like charging like pretty much free. Like he pays me $300 a month, which is like nobody else even has that ability to have me run ads or bots for them for that cheap a price. But he also gives me a bunch of free food. So I'm like, okay, that works. And plus he's like I can, test some stuff out with his ads and stuff. So what I've done is I created a Facebook ad that is targeting people who are having a birthday within the next week. And so what the ad is saying is like, hey, happy birthday. Why celebrate it just for on one day? Come in within a week of your birthday and you can get a free meal. Just click the button below to get your coupon. And so it's a JSON Facebook growth tool. And then so what they do is they click on it and then they get a coupon for their free, they have to hit the button or whatever. Then they get the coupon for their free meal. And then they'll have a follow-up reminder within a few days, since it's only within a week, that they'll say, hey, don't forget, come celebrate or extend your celebration. But the crazy thing is let's see. So it's only been running for 5 days and spent like $27 or $29. And it's like 86 cents a lead. I mean, this is just unbelievable. It's pretty much free. But the crazy thing and the best part and this is awesome for retention, right? Because one thing with digital marketers is a lot of times we run into issues of, okay, this is great. We're getting, like for a chiropractor, we're getting these great leads. And then, you only have so many people that you can show the ad to. And then it's ad fatigue and then it starts wearing out. And then they're like, where are all these leads? They're not coming in anymore. So the great thing about this is that you can, obviously it's a new audience every week because Facebook is showing it to people who have a birthday within that week. So this is going to be an ad campaign that's going to be constantly bringing people in every week. And then the other benefit with using a bot versus just, email is then I can get them subscribed to, my VIP list of, for future offers and stuff. And then they will get their, other comments and messages and stuff about upcoming things. Like, for example, Black Friday, I guess, is a really slow day. So being able to send a message to people saying, hey, if you come in on Black Friday, you get, this, or if you buy a gift card, you get, another free gift card sort of thing. So just keeping top of mind awareness, and then also giving free stuff on the side. But so that's the restaurant one. I've done a dentist one that's okay. So this dentist one is great because we're giving away with a new patient exam, either a free teeth whitening system or a Sonicare, free Sonicare toothbrush. Wow. And the great thing is, compared to just doing ads to a landing page, is I'm able to actually interact with people in the message. So I'm working with the main office to within a Google sheet of like saying, okay, you guys need to call them, once you get the information, write down if you've left a message or whatever. And then if you don't get a message, or if you don't schedule, then I will send a follow-up message. And so like on day 2, I sent up a follow-up message saying, hey, are you still wanting this free Sonicare toothbrush? Let me know, or let us know when a good time to come in for your cleaning would be, or your new patient exam. And there's people like, oh, sorry, I totally forgot. And then someone's like, oh yeah, I'm getting my braces off. So it's like this interaction and this very personable ability to talk with these people and be able to get them to move towards actually booking an appointment, which then will obviously, that's a little bit more personable than someone's email, right? They're just like, oh yeah, never mind. I don't want to do that anymore. So if it's in their messenger, it gets a higher engagement and then conversion rate. So yeah, so those are 2 examples, I guess. Oh, I saw
those are all awesome. I'm running a bot for a coffee shop, one of my favorite coffee shops. It's kind of like the restaurant that you're running it for. I don't get paid that much by the coffee shop, but I get free coffee. So
yeah, it's a win.
But yes, so restaurants are awesome for these bots. The thing with restaurants, they don't have the biggest ad budget. But if you see a restaurant in your area really pushing marketing, if you see their marketing stuff everywhere, I would go in there and introduce yourself as the bot expert and show them what a bot is, because they have a little bit of money that they're throwing towards marketing already.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what else?
Let's see. I see a question here about how do you pass the JSON barrier, Facebook not approving the ad? The only error that I've seen with the JSON ads, and it depends on your niche and your business, right? I mean, obviously, like for weight loss, that might be more of an issue of ad copy versus the bot itself. The only requirement with the JSON ad is that the first message has to be, including the button text, has to be less than 150 characters and cannot contain any emojis or any first name stuff. It has to be just pretty bland. So one way to get around having an arrow, though, like to say point to click here instead of having an emoji of a finger, you can do the Alt 1-4, the character map. If you go to at least in Windows, you go to character map, and then you can find all the different like arrows or the triangles, right? You can use it as a arrow. So that's one way to have a good call to action for that. But for the JSON ad itself, when you're setting it up, just make sure. One thing else I've seen is people, they don't erase all the standard JSON messaging that's in there. That comes when you're creating the ad. So you want to make sure you have everything erased before you paste the ManyChat widget JSON code into there. So
cool.
That's one. Let's see. With the dentist client, are you tagging them in some way and doing an automated follow-up if they're still interested in the offer? Or are you doing live chat? I'm doing live chat just because it's a small number of people. The other benefit is I have with the ManyChat growth tool, when you're setting it up, you can actually click to be notified when somebody does a certain action. So anytime anybody opts in to that ad and starts putting in their name and email and phone number, I get a message from the page itself. So that way I can go in and double check to make sure everything's going okay. And also it's a good reminder to me like, oh, great, we got another lead sort of thing. So it's great notification for that as well.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for your comments. Keep them coming. Any questions that you got? What's up, Nathan? Susan, how are you doing? And Andrew, what's up, man? So there's this big debate, ManyChat versus Chat Fuel. So I know you're a ManyChat fan. Can you tell everybody like why you chose ManyChat?
Sure. Well, and I actually, right before we started talking, I had somebody who has a bot set up by somebody else, and it was very poorly done. I was like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But his is in ChatFuel. So, I'm not necessarily biased to one or the other. It's just that most of my clients are lead gen, and everything can be done in ManyChat. So that's what I've mostly known. But if there's certain functionalities that you need, like let's say payment processing within the bot. Currently, ChatFuel has more of an open API to be able to allow stuff like that. ManyChat obviously is going to be coming out with that as well. But if you have certain parameters or things that you need, you really want to base your bot based on what end goals that you want to have accomplish, right? And the other great thing is things are coming out and changing constantly. So, there's just announced the other day that Facebook said that, messenger bots are going to be able to be installed on websites, which ChatFuel has come out with that as a function for theirs, which I have to look into for this guy. I'm like, okay, I'll learn this. But ManyChat has it in beta too. So, it's coming out too. As soon as Facebook rolls it out to everybody, it'll be ready with ManyChat. So that's great because, if you have a website that you want to have either customer interactions, pre-sale or post-sale, or just, customer service, you can have it all within Messenger, which will be great because then you can, contact them later on for, other broadcasts and stuff like that. So my main suggestion, if you're going back and forth between the two main, or any bot software, is to really look at your main goals of what you want to have accomplished. And if that bot software can accomplish those, not to mention that there's enough information out there for you to be able to learn it, right? It could be that a bot software is new and can do a bunch of this stuff, but if they don't have a great tutorial section or they don't have a group that's full of thousands of people to be able to help you, then if you want to go alone and do that, that's great. But if you want to have it faster and be able to scale, then I highly suggest choosing one of the main two bot softwares.
Yeah. I just looked into a couple other softwares the other day, and I'm like, these don't really compare to ChatFuel or ManyChat. So I totally agree with that.
And the other aspect is also the cost. So if you have, because both ManyChat and ChatFuel, they charge on cost based on number of subscribers for the most part. You have a free plan with ManyChat. You can totally do it free, have as many subscribers as you want. It just has all the ManyChat branding on it. But if you want to remove that branding, then it starts at $10 a month and then goes up to $15 if you have over 1,000 subscribers, or over 500, and then 15 if you have over 1,000. Kind of just goes up that way. ChatFuel has a little bit different pay structure with their subscriptions. From what I've heard, though, to just remove the branding, it's $30 a month, but I'm not sure what that caps off at with subscribers. But you definitely want to make sure if you have a fan page that has, 50,000 people that like it, that you think, okay, well, then I'll get a bunch of subscribers from those, kind of also compare the cost wise as well.
Awesome. So I got a good question yesterday from somebody. I can't remember who it was, but the menu portion that you make for your clients, it's that little hamburger button that goes in the chat screen. Not too many leads or just everyday people know about that. Have you figured out any ways how to direct people to that menu?
Well, if it's the free plan, like with ManyChat, it will always be there and be visible, just because so it shows that branding. But when it's a paid plan, that's where it's on the bottom where you would have to hit it. So one thing is with messenger bots is you have a greeting text that you can modify. So in ManyChat, if you go to settings, and then it'll say greeting text that you can change, that you can actually put in there, say, click the Get Started button below. If you want to access our menu, hit the hamburger thing or hit the menu button below. Or obviously within some of your messages that you're initiating with people, say, hey, if you want to access our menu, maybe show what it looks like with an arrow. So that way it's more easily accessible that way.
Awesome. That's a great description. We got another question here from Andrew. Do you keep the bots you create in your account, or do you create an account for the client if they pay for setup?
Let's see.
Yeah, that first one.
So then, yeah, so if keeping the bot in the account, let's see, or do you create the account for the client if they pay for setup? So for me, I don't like clients necessarily to have access to the bot software necessarily. It's just more hands in the kitchen, right? More people in the kitchen. We don't need people who, it's the same thing with Facebook ads clients. I 99% of the time have the ad account in my account because I don't need them fiddling around with it or them seeing how easy it is to use. And then they can just say, oh, we'll just do this ourselves. See ya. So it helps my job security as well. But if you have a client who already has ManyChat, then you can just ask them to send you a link to invite you to it, and then you will have it in your dashboard. So, either way, but my suggestion is if you can have a choice, don't have them have access to it because, they don't necessarily need to, be in there with what they're paying you for your services to do that anyway. So a lot of my clients, for all they know, I'm coding all this stuff on the back end and I'm not even using a program.
That's awesome. I'm in the same boat there. And yeah, if you're watching the replay right now, hit that or give us a comment, hit that like button or that heart button. And obviously, Nathan, there will be a replay then. One thing that I wanted to ask you, we discussed this a couple days ago, but so when you get a lead from a Facebook ad or something else and they go into the bot, how do you get your client that lead as soon as possible?
So what I utilize, and every client is different with what they have already in place. Like I try not to have to reinvent the wheel with them or they have to learn new stuff. But for the most part, I connect Google Sheets via Zapier to the bot. So that way when somebody opts in for something with their name and email and phone number, then it automatically gets exported out into Google Sheets. And then that way they have access to that information. And I also say that too at the beginning. I say, hey, you're going to have access to all these leads, all their, information that you can follow up with later on if you would like, with phone calls or emails. And doing it that way is great because then they're not having to obviously go through all their messages, especially if it's not a local business, if it's more national or international. The one downside to bots is, and I'm sure many people can understand this or appreciate this, is your messenger will just get inundated with tons of messages, and trying to go through all of those and trying to weed out the ones and get all the information is really a daunting task. So being able to have it where you have a user input where all that information gets just automatically exported out makes it a lot easier for the client to be able to utilize that information for, their contacts, or if they have an email responder, you could actually have it, like Active Campaign, you can actually have it automatically exported into their Active Campaign list. So then that way it's less cumbersome for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I do the same thing. Google Sheets, Active Campaign, MailChimp, and just to reiterate that, we use the Zapier tool to redirect all the leads information coming in. And one thing to add on top of that, you can tag the responses that come in into your chatbot, and you can export those into your Google Sheets. So your customer has that information all in front of them.
Yeah, definitely.
And Mackensie, it looks like go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, someone else asked, does ManyChat allow you to build different cards automatically monthly? Yes. So like, if you want to have, let your client know that they're going to be charged, or if you want to use a separate card for different accounts, you can totally do that. Obviously, if you're trying to keep the information about ManyChat or Chatfuel on the DL and not have your client know that you're using software, I probably wouldn't charge them or put their card into that information, because then they'll get a charge from ManyChat or Chatfuel or whatever. So, and for me, for a lot of my clients, if I can't get away with just the free plan, I just, if I have to pay $10 a month, that's fine by me. It's a write-off, right? It's advertising expense. So, that's just kind of part of it. But if you end up having a client who has a big presence and they're going to have to pay, a bunch of money for a lot of subscribers, then you can have them, put in their card, or you can ask for their card too. The other thing that I was thinking of with the Zapier aspect, another thing that I've done, which has been really cool, is with an e-com store that sells on Amazon, is being able to send coupon codes via Zapier. So it is a very technical and detailed process to get that worked out. And I've had people like, oh, can you show me how? I'm like, if you pay me, yes, because this is like way in depth, and it took me a few days to get it figured out because, as you know, Zapier, it can be, you have to think outside the box with some things, but pretty much being able to say, with an ad saying, hey, you want a coupon code for 75% off of this product, click here, and it's a JSON ad. And then it goes into the chatbot and said, okay, click here for your coupon code. And then what that does is that then sends through Zapier to Google Sheets to pull a coupon code from Google Sheets, and then also puts the person's name next to the coupon code in the sheet, so you know who is getting which coupon code. And then it will automatically send back a message into ManyChat, back into Messenger, saying, okay, here's your coupon code, here's the link, this is where you go buy it and stuff. And then also have to put in there, because the coupon codes are there's so many there. And so if we run out, then I had to create another Zap that if the first Zap didn't find anything, then another Zap would say, oh, sorry, we're out of coupon codes, but we'll remind you, or we'll let you know when we have more. And then I have to tag the user so that way we can, figure out who isn't getting a code. So that kind of goes to show of some possibilities, that it's not just necessarily lead gen, name, email, phone number, that you can actually send messages back to automatically, by using Zapier and things like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't even think about that. Very cool. And in terms of the credit card, I don't even get my customer's credit card information for the chatbot specifically. So like Mackenzie said, I write it off for ManyChat. It's just $10. Until we get them over 500 subscribers. So it's really nothing, and it prevents them from knowing what system you're using. So if they get a credit card charge that says it's coming from ManyChat, they might look into that because they don't know what that is, and then they know what you're using, and it's kind of, ManyChat's pretty easy to use after you get in there and check everything out. There are a lot of different ways that you can use it, but getting the basics down is pretty easy. But yeah, Mackenzie, let's go into that. When somebody's super new, just starting out, where do you suggest that they start, and what do they check out first?
So, well, I have a group, shameless plug, called Marketing with Messenger Bots. And
yes, it's awesome.
And I've actually created a pretty much, it's a mini course on how to create a messenger bot, and it's over 5 days. It's funny, it started out with just being a 5-day challenge, and I've been able to turn it into an evergreen 5-day mini course pretty much that walks you through how to set up your welcome message, your default reply, sequences, keywords, and growth tools. So if you want that, you can either go to my group and it's in the pinned post, or you can do bit.ly and then / messenger bot challenge, and the M and the B and the C are all capitalized. So if you just do all lowercase, it won't work. So, but that will take you to the messenger bot challenge. That will walk you through everything.
Comments too. Sorry.
Perfect. Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Comments right now. I got it. Go ahead.
Okay. So, because it's such a brand new field and things are changing constantly. I mean, just in the last, let's say 2 to 3 weeks, at least with ManyChat, been able to now have a flow builder, which is amazing. I don't know if you've used that yet, but flow builder is amazing, where it gives you a bird's eye view of the bot and showing your sequences and, from one message to the next, and your with your different buttons. So that's brand new. Also, being able to clone your bot. That's been a huge update, being able, in ManyChat, being able to clone a bot. Let's say you have, a dentist client like I do, and let's say I then go and get another dentist client in another city, then I can just clone that bot from one to the other, and I save myself so much time. And so with all these different changes, it's, kind of hard to keep up on everything. But if you have, the basics of, how to build a bot with those like 5 main points, then, you can add on to your knowledge from there on top of it. So yeah, in my group, I'm constantly providing information and value and like how to with stuff. I do also do one-on-one coaching. If anybody's like wanting to get up and going in 2 days, I do over Zoom, and you pretty much know everything that I know. I pretty much just ask you what you want to do with it, give you strategies, and just pretty much info dump on you about everything about messenger bots. And then we build out your bot. But the great thing is it's all recorded. So when you have information overload, you can go back through it and watch it again when you have some time to regurgitate everything. So, but my suggestion is with learning is just, play around with it too. I mean, that's how I learned majority of this information is I've just messed around with it and tested things and seen how it worked, and then, seen what other people have done. But it's been a huge game changer, and it's only going to get better with Facebook rolling out functionality. My biggest wish, and when this happens, I'm going to throw a party, is when Facebook allows us to have the pixel within Messenger so we can track conversions into Messenger. Because as of right now, it's like you can kind of track conversions, by doing math and stuff, but you can't create, custom audiences necessarily unless you're doing video views. You can try and do it that way, but so there's a lot of room for messenger bots to continue to get better. And so being able to have all these different options are going to just make it better. So might as well get in on it now and learn it now, and then just be able to add pieces as they come out.
Agreed. I love it. And we have another question here from Magnus. What's up, Magnus? Is it possible to get chatbot clients just by DMing them and cold email businesses, or is cold calling going from door to door and log? So yeah, it's the same as selling anything that you're doing via marketing. You can do it in different ways. How I get my clients are now just through referrals. And that's my favorite way to get clients, obviously, through referrals. But when I was starting out, doing just cold contacting, going door to door, that was the easiest way I was able to acquire clients by far. But everybody has their own method. Everybody has what they like. So Mackensie, when you were starting out with message bots, or when you were just starting out selling Facebook ads, what was your method?
So I took a Facebook ads course from Dan Henry, and he said one way that's worked for a lot of people is doing this curious student thing, where you're saying you're starting out, you want to run ads for some people, some businesses for free, with them paying for ad spend, which worked great for a lot of people. My network sucked. Nobody wanted to do that, so I'm just like hearing crickets. I'm like, okay, what's next? So next, I started realizing, getting my mail, instead of throwing away all these stupid flyers that I didn't ever want to use, I'm like, dude, these businesses are spending money on flyers to send out, not only to print, but to postage. They have no exact return on investment. They don't know who is actually, it's just a lot of waste of money for the most part, right? So I started calling people who I was getting flyers from and said, hey, have you ever thought about Facebook ads? And 2 people jumped on it. One person initially, and then the other person actually just called me back 6 months later saying, yeah, I'm ready to do ads now. But that's how I first started. Also going through Groupon, I got a client who was on Groupon, a gym. I'm like, okay, this is great. Another one, I was actually getting my tires changed, and I walked across the street to a personal trainer and walked into his gym, and I was like, hey, I think I might be able to help you out. He's like, how's that? I'm like, and of course, the other thing is I double checked all these people's websites before I walk in for the most part. That one was very random and on the fly, but to see if they have a Facebook pixel. If they don't have a Facebook pixel, I know they're not doing ads, or they're not doing ads well. And so I walked in and said, hey, I do Facebook ads, and I could bring in some more people to your gym. And so in 2 weeks, we did a Facebook ad for a 14-day challenge, and got over 30 people to sign up, and 15 people came in. And it was very specific because it's a Spartan gym. And so it's like hard to necessarily target people who are just into Spartan races and, American Ninja Warrior, all that, crazy stuff. It's not just, regular personal trainer. But he was blown away by the fact that I was able to get him all those people. So yeah, just being creative. I also took one whole day and went up and down a main street in my city, and went all to a ton of chiropractor offices and talked to them, handed out my card. And actually that didn't result in anybody, but it helped me with my ability to, talk to people. That was when I first starting out. And so I was kind of nervous, but I'm like, I just got to do this. I just got to get better at it. So now I'm kind of laughing, like, all these people that, didn't take me up on my offer and how much, they're missing out now on ads that they could have had. But with Facebook bots, though, that's kind of changed the game a little bit, where actually I just sent, and this works really good. You can send an example bot. Like, let's say there's somebody that you're talking to. He's like, okay, I want to tell you more about messenger bots. Let me send you an example of what it can do, because you could talk about it all day long, but until somebody actually interacts with the bot, they might not even know really how it works. So I actually created a bot for a watchmaking company in New York City. They were interested, they hadn't heard of bots before. So we said, yeah, we'll send this to you. And then, and of course, the other benefit is on my side, I can see who's going through that bot sequence. And so we sent it, and there were 4 different people that went through it. So they were showing it to, other people and stuff. One person works for Kate Spade. I'm like, oh, wow, maybe we'll get a referral. But being able to sit, and so we talked to them today, and they're blown away. They're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I said, and that's just based off of me just saying, putting something out there as an example. We can do it way more customized to exactly what they want. But if you create a bot example and then send it as an email, as a ref URL, and say, hey, check out my, example. If you like this, if you want me to create this for you, then, let's talk.
Yeah, no, I love that suggestion. We have another question here from Christina. How are you doing, Christina? She's asking, can you give us an idea of what to charge for a simple bot setup? You want to take that?
Sure. So for me, it kind of depends on the client and their profit margin, right? So for example, my restaurant, like I said, I don't charge a whole lot. He doesn't have a huge profit margin on his food, versus the dentist. I charge way more because the long-term value of their customers that are coming back over and over again. So if you can kind of get that out of them on an initial call to find out, what their long-term value of a customer is, and then being able to figure out, how many leads that you could get them, and then kind of do some quick math. But in general, for me right now, that my time aspect is more of a limiting factor right now, before, except for, compared to when I was first starting. So right now, I really don't accept any Facebook ads and chatbot work under $1,500 a month. Maybe $1,000 if I'm feeling generous, or if I have some extra time. But like for my restaurant client, it's like I'm doing it for $400 or $300 with free food. But my dentist client, I'm doing it for $2,500, which is including ad spend. So for me, it's more of wanting to figure out what their value is, because I want to position myself to be an asset and not an expense, because I want to be able to bring them leads and them to realize that this investment is worth their money that they're putting into me.
Awesome. And when you're trying to get leads to subscribe to your bot, I know you do Facebook advertisements. I just put out a video yesterday. If you guys want to check it out, another way to get people subscribed is the Facebook barcode or Facebook Messenger code. That's really cool. Are there other ways that you have implemented for your clients to get people to subscribe to the bot?
Yeah, so obviously putting on a website, there's some widget tools that you can put on your website, and especially if you have a e-com, or if you're selling something online, that you can say, hey, click the button below. You have an embeddable box. You can say, click the button below, and you can get 10% off of your next order or whatever, and then that will send them to Messenger, and they'll get their coupon. So that's one way through a website. You can do it through Instagram. Put your bot link for a specific growth tool. You'd probably want to obviously do it with a Bitly link, make it easier, but put a bot link in your Instagram profile. So then that way people can, if you're on Instagram a lot, then that way you'll get more subscribers that way. YouTube is another great one. You can have a YouTube video that let's say you're a health and fitness coach and that you're giving ideas and instructions for some great tips for exercise. And if you say, hey, I've got this really great nutrition cheat sheet or PDF that if you want to for a, let's say a recipe or something, or just a week food plan, click the video or click the link in the comments, and then it'll be sent to you, and then you can get subscribers that way. So pretty much anywhere that you can put a link is a way to do it. Or like you said, the messenger code, that's another way. A lot of people don't know how to even access that. So one downside is you have to kind of instruct them of like, okay, here's how you scan this code. You have to go into Messenger and you have to click on people and all that stuff. But with more people getting used to this and learning about it, then, every day there's more and more people who know how to access that stuff.
Yep. Awesome. I love that, putting that URL link just about anywhere, especially on the YouTube videos. I didn't even think of that. So if you have a personal brand, put the URL link in your YouTube videos, put it down below, and get people subscribed to your bot. What I did for this Facebook Live is I sent out a broadcast message to everybody I have subscribed. And we, just to give you the stats right now, we got 71 people to click on it.
That's awesome.
And we got a good amount of people in here, so I'm stoked about that. I love these bots. They help with engagement so much. And I appreciate everybody being here right now. We're going to close it up pretty soon here. So if you have any final questions for Mackensie, I'm sure she'd love to answer them. Put them in the comments down below. And it looks like we have one more from Mark Casey here. And what's up, Mark? Are you bringing people on and signing them up to the pro version straight away? Who carries the cost of this, or how do you price out your bot service? So we kind of went over this already, but real quick, what Mackensie and I like to do is we pay for the bot ourselves with our own credit card, just so our customer doesn't know that we're using ManyChat. And then, so cost, Mackensie, you said that you typically charge $1,500 for the bot per month on a retainer, but it really depends on customer lifetime value. So it could go up from there. Is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yeah. So usually, and when I'm talking to a client, this is really beneficial, is I pre-frame them a little bit. I say, okay, they're like, how much do you charge? I'm like, well, for Facebook ads alone, I usually charge $1,500 a month plus ad spend. If someone just wants me to create a bot for them without Facebook ads, I normally charge $1,000 setup fee and then $500 a month for ongoing optimization and adding more growth tools and stuff. But to do a package deal, I will drop the bot setup fee and then just do $2,000 a month. So in a way, they're saving $1,000, and that kind of helps them to realize, oh wow, I'm saving money by combining the two. Plus, I like to mention that a bot by itself without Facebook ads or some other way of YouTube ads, things like that, paid traffic to bring people to the bot is like I like to say it's like a shiny new Corvette that's sitting there without the keys. So it's like this great bot that can do something, but without people there going through it, it just sits there. So with pricing, like you said, it's really based on long-term value of a client. So if it's, a restaurant, I'll do the same pre-frame, but I'll just lower that bar a little bit. So that's why it's really good to get some information before, qualifying information before you talk to them, so that way you can have an idea of what's going on. The other thing I want to mention too is Facebook, we're talking about, how amazing chatbots are, which they are, but we also don't want to abuse it, right? We don't want to be spammy. And Facebook actually has a Facebook rule, messenger rule, that you cannot send any promotional messages to subscribers past 24 hours of last interacting. And that really helps. And I agree with that rule. So you're not getting all the spammy messages like, oh, buy this, every day. And you're like, oh my gosh. Everybody can unsubscribe, which also if people are unsubscribing a lot, or if they're getting negative reviews on it, then Facebook will actually shut down your messenger, and they'll say, sorry, until you provide, I've actually seen screenshots of people getting these messages, and they are pretty much placed in Facebook jail. So you want to make sure that, like for my restaurant client, right? I have coupons and promotions and stuff. You want to ask a qualifying question and make sure you're asking permission a lot. That way you also know who's engaging and who's wanting to be involved with your bot. So if you say for my restaurant client for Halloween, we're doing a 20% off. So I ended up doing a message I sent to everybody. I said, hey, do you want to hear what spooktacular thing we're cooking up for Halloween? Just something corny, ridiculous. And then people were like, yes, I want to hear. And then if they didn't hit the button, then they wouldn't get the coupon. But if they hit the button, then they would get the coupon to be able to come in. And we set that up the day before Halloween. He just texted me like, hey, how about this idea? And I whipped up this, coupon with these ghosts on it and sent it out. And there was like a handful of people who actually came in. So I'm like, oh, that's great. That worked out. And it was great. But yeah, so you always want to be asking permission from people before, as you're sending out messages, because you don't want a bunch of unsubscribes and you don't want a bunch of people doing negative feedback. Plus, being able to segment out your list with those tags will help you to create content just for those people who are most likely to want to hear about the information.
Agreed. And I don't think we went too much into tags. Can you explain what the tags are, what they do, how they help?
Sure. So, for example, let's say you have a salon, and in your salon you have waxing, hair, and let's say nails. So, let's say you have a growth tool that you create and you connect to Facebook ads for 20% off of hair service or something. So everybody who goes into that, and you'll want to set this up beforehand because it's a little bit more daunting to figure it out and get it set up after the fact. So it's really good to make sure you have all this set up before you hit live. But have within a button, because you can connect tags to buttons, being able to say, okay, everybody who clicked on this ad and then they click say, yes, I want this coupon for 20% off of a hair service, then they get tagged with interested in hair services. So then that way you know that they're interested in that. They might be interested in your waxing or your nail service that you could, send just a random overall message to people saying, hey, would you be interested in hearing more about our waxing services? And if they say yes, then you can tag them for that. So then person A would be, having a tag for both hair and waxing, but then maybe somebody else doesn't want the waxing, so that it's just hair services. So then you can just, continue to have messages just that are specific to those people and are segmented out. So it's really great to have it be a more personal experience for the end user as well. So they're not getting all the spam stuff they don't care about.
Yep. And with that, I'm working with a chiropractor on his bot, and how we segment it out for his chiropractic services. He does chiropractic services, a wellness program, and massages. So the first message that people get hit with is asking them, hey, what are you here for? And then we can segment them out that way with tags and everything like that. So super, super cool. We have another question here from Carmelyn, and I love that name. So what's involved in the monthly maintenance service for your bot? Good question.
So for me, pretty much I'm in my client's messenger all the time. It's funny. It's like you have this idea of what the bot's going to do. When somebody clicks on it, you have it all figured out. But then when it's live, you realize there's people that are doing stuff that you're like, crap, I didn't think about this. So for example, my first bot with my restaurant client, I sent a coupon for a free appetizer, and then I had a button below saying click here to redeem, or have the server click here to redeem. Well, people were clicking on it right when they got it, 2 a.m. or whatever, or right after they they opted in, and then a minute later they clicked, and then no, can you not?
I think we're having a little technical difficulty here. Hey, Mackenzie, are you still?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. We broke up a little bit there.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep going.
So pretty much created a keyword so it would resend that coupon one last time. So that's part of that maintenance, is going through there to see, making sure that things are performing properly. Also, if they have a new follow-up sequence they want to do, or a growth tool, that also in combination with Facebook ads, will end up giving people are giving you that monthly maintenance fee, you know, where, yeah, Facebook ads, you have to create a new campaign. Well, then you need a new growth tool, new sequence, you know, new connection with Zapier, things like that. So that helps to cover that, you know, fee or that time that you are spending having to go through all of that. So yes, it was very, very frustrating. Not to mention that restaurant client, he doesn't track. So I couldn't track ROI. Like, I was like, how many people came in for this free appetizer? He's like, oh, we had a handful. I'm like, what's the number so we can figure out your ROI? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh my God, numbers. Come on.
That's another thing that goes with pre-framing. Make sure that you get your clients to track everything, all the leads that are coming in, because that can get really, really frustrating. And then you might lag in the video and look crazy for a little bit.
I'm going to have to catch a replay just for that.
Pretty funny. But final questions, you guys. If there's anything more you want to ask, do it right now. We have one coming in. But we're closing up shop pretty soon here. If you're watching the replay, there is going to be a replay, you guys. But if you're watching it right now, hearts, likes, I like hearts, or laughy face, whatever from that lag. Give us whatever, just more engagement. I love it. Thank you guys so much for being here. So let's answer Andrew's question right here, and then we'll sign off. For the maintenance package, do you limit the amount of times you make a coupon for them, so they don't make one every 2 days?
Yeah, that's kind of part of the pre-framing aspect, especially if you're doing Facebook ads, is letting them know that, you know, your services are, you know, you're going to run an ad and run it as it's, you know, don't change something or don't try and fix it if it's not broken, right? So if it's running well and it's getting a lot of engagement, then, you know, I only do one campaign, which would include coupons, one at a time. And then, you know, as soon as it starts to get ad fatigue, then, you know, come up with the next one. So if you have like a restaurant, you can point out the example of like McDonald's. They do Monopoly, you know, for a couple months, and then they move on to their McRib or whatever, right? They're not promoting multiple things all at once. You know, they're promoting one thing at a time. So then that way it's also less work on your end, and you can also prepare and get, you know, like ideas for future campaigns and stuff. So that also helps for client retention for you to have a client that's going to stick around and not just be a one and done for, you know, 1 month. So
awesome. Love it. If you guys couldn't tell already, Mackensie is super helpful. She's super awesome. Her group is sweet, filled with information. I'll be bringing you more information in this group as well with chatbots, because I love them as well. But I highly suggest going over to Mackensie's group, checking it out, becoming a member, and also taking her 5-day challenge. I actually started there. So thank you so much, Mackensie, for that.
Sure.
Yeah, is there anything that you'd like to plug or end on or anything like that? Final remarks?
No. Nope, that's about it. You know, it's just, you know, it's a lot of fun. I really love it. Like I said, you know, my group, you know, make sure you answer the questions though. I don't accept anybody who doesn't answer the questions. So, so make sure you answer those questions to get into the group. And, yeah, my 5-day course, or 5-day, challenge, you know, that's like a mini course. I do the one-on-one consulting. Also, I am coming out with a, actual bots and Facebook ads course together, where pretty much you get, everything that's current and then everything that's coming out. I've been so busy with clients lately though that I haven't like launched it like big time. But if you're interested in that, let me know. You know, I'm taking a few people in like a beta type of thing. So if you're interested in that, you would probably get the most one-on-one time ever, because you'd be one of the first people in the course. So, you know, that's also an option. So, you know, shoot me a message.
I love it. Do all that. For me, I'm also coming out with a beta course, which is for agencies. So we go over everything, acquiring clients, building chatbots and Facebook ads, absolutely everything from A to Z. And like Mackensie said, when you're in a beta course, you get one-on-one attention. It's incredible. So highly suggest looking into hers and looking into mine. But I really appreciate your time, Mackensie. It was all awesome. I think this was incredible how much information you shared on chatbots. And I'm excited to see what people do with it, because this is just the beginning with chatbots, and it's really, really exciting. So thank you so much for your time, Mackensie.
Of course. All right. And we'll see you guys around.
Yeah. Have a great one, guys.
Okay, thanks.